Let's rank everything in the original Angry Birds. I'm ranking the birds, the blocks, the power-ups, and the pigs. But why? I've come across a few videos that just rank the birds or things like that, but as a true Angry Birds fan who's created several challenge videos and sunk tons of hours into the game, let's rank it all. I'm going to grade them from S tier all the way down to D tier based on completely true and objective rankings. So let's start with power-ups. This is the shortest category by far, but let's start with the King Sling, or as I like to call it, the Crap Sling. This is terrible, and even in the tutorial levels, it's hard for the game to find a reason for you to use it. I guess it makes you shoot farther and harder, but the game can't make levels around this without making the game pay to win, so I never used it once in my playthrough. D tier. Next up is the Birdquake. It's a creative name for sure and a cool concept. You shake everything up and can kill pigs without birds, making it a great tool for 3-starring levels. However, it always seems a little underwhelming. On some levels, it works amazingly, but on most it doesn't do much or even makes things harder, so I'm gonna give it a B. The Power Potion is honestly great. It turns your red into a Terrence and your Terrence into a god. You fly through every block and tear through levels, earning it a respectable A tier. I'd give the Sling Scope the exact same score. The hardest part of Angry Birds is not knowing where you're shooting. You have to use that intuition, but the Sling Scope solves the problem by giving you a direct line. It's almost impossible to mess anything up with the Sling Scope, but it's even harder to mess something up with the Shockwave. The Bomb is already one of the most cracked birds in the game, so making him a little bit stronger and pumping him full of electrical roids makes this guy the most powerful being in the Angry Birds universe. The mere mortal pigs tell legends about this guy, and the little pig children check under their bed at night to make sure this nightmare isn't there. So I'm gonna throw him in S tier faster than the blink of an eye. What can I say about the blocks? Obviously we have the boring wood, stone, and ice or glass. I still don't know. Wood and stone can both go in B tier because they're boring, and I'm putting whatever this is in C because of all the confusion it's caused me. But now we can look at the fun stuff, like these Greek pillars. While they do have some cool design and I like them a little bit, I'm gonna have to throw them in D tier because of how annoyingly tough they are. They're even resistant to the almighty bomb, which is absolutely bonkers. But we also have the TNT. The TNT is amazing in almost every way. It blows up buildings and pigs and is usually placed in a way where it causes tons of destruction. But you do have to activate it, and a lot of the time you hit it and it just doesn't explode, ruining your entire attempt. For that small caveat, I do have to bump it from S down to A, but still an amazing block. Finally, we have the wonderful smiley face. Any level with this guy in it is an instant W, as he's just so happy. He fills me with joy, and there's no better home for him than S tier. And if you're enjoying the video so far, then make sure to subscribe for videos like this every Monday. Thank you. Now that we're on to the pigs, we can start to have some fun. But let's get rid of the old minions first. The most basic pigs that you see in almost every level are the small, medium, and large pigs, which only really differ in how big Rovio made their PNG. For me, the medium pig is the perfect one. The small pig is really weak and fragile, but just small enough that he's annoying to kill and I could miss him. The large pig is obviously Muy Grande, but that does supply him with a little extra strength, which can let him hang on and stay a little past his welcome. The medium pig, though, is the best of both worlds, giving it a nice A rank, while the other two can rot in C tier. But now we can move on to the cool pigs like this one with the giant mustache. His real name is the 4-Man Pig, and although he spent a lot of time on that mustache, as we all know, gingers have no soul, so he's gonna have to spend his time at the bottom. The Corporal Pig almost joins him down there because of how annoying he is. With this guy's metal hat, he can take a building collapsing on his head and barely even flinch. You're basically forced to get a direct hit on him with a bird or give up, so he's going in C. The King Pig is cool. When I first saw him, I thought the design was sick, and I loved the crown. But then I played the level, absolutely abolished him, and moved on with my day. He's a little underwhelming to say the least, and comes up so infrequently that although I think he's a cool looking guy, I've got to put him in B. Then there's Leonard, who gives off the most creepy uncle vibes ever. Do not leave your child, or really anyone, alone in a room with this guy. They clearly copied the design from King Pig straight over to him and just threw a beard on him, which is so lazy. They didn't even improve the design either, meaning this is going straight to C tier. There really haven't been any good pigs yet, but that's because I saved the best for last. These pigs are very rare, but the sunglasses pigs are my favorite in the entire game. They look amazing. There's also the fact that some of them are wearing massive ones while others have little ones on their foreheads. It's an easy S for me. Red is the most basic and fundamental bird. He doesn't have an ability, but he's a classic. You can't really disrespect Red, and even though he's nowhere near my first round pick, I've got to give him a solid B. He's usable, he's not trash, he's just red. Then we have the Bluebirds, otherwise known as Jim, Jake, and Jay. They're kind of the children of the group, and a little useless. They know how to destroy glass in your property like every child, and aren't really good for anything else. C tier. Chuck is where things get good. When I think of a Chuck, I think of some middle-aged 300-pound dude with back hair living in his mother's basement in suburban Detroit. And he kind of matches that description if I'm gonna be honest, but he does get the job done. Even without his speed, he's a pretty slick triangle, and adding the power-up onto him puts him in a tier above. I already kind of talked about this guy when I talked about Shockwave, but the Bomb is my favorite bird. He's better than Red in literally every way. He's bigger, he's stronger, and he explodes on command. I'm always happy to see him in a level, and that deserves the S rank. Next up is Matilda, who seems kind and motherly at first, until you realize that she's been throwing her babies like grenades at the enemies. She's just sacrificing her kid and flying away like a coward. She's still a very good bird, but really hard to aim and a monster, knocking her 2 tiers down into B. Bubbles might be my second favorite bird. He's so weird and quirky, but can cause massive destruction at a moment's notice. After he inflates to the size of a hot air balloon, he flies around while deflating, causing a little more damage. It's great. He might be a little more niche than the Bomb, but he's still a really cool and fun to use bird, earning another S tier. Stella is a cool concept, but not great execution. There are a couple of instances where she does some damage, but most of the time I just wish I had someone else. Since she can't destroy anything, the bubbles just grab the outside of the defense and can't get anywhere near the center. So you better pray the pigs don't have any type of defense or Stella won't get anywhere. She has a cool design, so I at least have to give her B tier, but I can't go any higher than that. Hal is, I think, the only bird you unlock in a level. He's featured in this cage, and after beating the level, you unlock him, which is a super cool concept and something I wish I did for more birds. He's also just super cool. He's green, shaped like a boomerang, and can hit pigs from the back, which is a crazy new concept that's super fun to play around with. He's not the most powerful bird in existence, meaning he's an S tier, but it's an easy A for me. Finally, we have Red's older mute brother, Terrence. Terrence is an absolute unit of a bird who stops at nothing. He reminds me of Shaq on the basketball court, the way he dominates. He might not have much to say, but actions are stronger than words, and Terrence gets the job done. And with that, I have to wrap up the tier list. This was everything I remember, although I'm sure I missed some random obscure details featured in like one level, so feel free to yell at me in the comments below. Subscribe if you enjoyed, and watch another video on screen now. Have a great day.